Pappy's back this week. I'm going to attempt to mount the tires on the lawnmower. I had parts ordered for the Ranger. I was wanting to start that project, but all of them haven't arrived yet. And so anyway, I do have tires and I have tubes for these tires. You remember I showed you in a previous episode how flat they came shipped to me, and they look like they're going to be a real pain. But anyway, I'm going to see if I can get those mounted up. Well, you remember those tires that they sent me? Well, I got these to go inside. So I'm going to put these into this tire and see if I can inflate it and let it sit for a few days to give it some sort of shape. Because I can't even get this to go on the wheel. I mean, it's ridiculous. But anyway, I'm going to do that right now. If I can get them in there. Hopefully it'll straighten out a little bit. What a mess. Okay, I waited a couple of days. I had one problem. Later on that evening, I heard a boom, and I came down to see what it was, and before I could get down here, I heard a second boom. It was the inner tubes exploding. I guess I put too much air in them and they didn't hold up. I used to, as a kid, we used to air these up and bet how much air we could put in them before they blew up. And I remember them getting much bigger than that. But with that said, they just don't make things like they used to. But it didn't stretch the tires. They were only up about an hour, and then, of course, they retained their shape. So I borrowed a couple of inner tubes off of my wheelbarrow. I had to dismount. I got the dual wheels. I dismounted both of those and took the tubes out, and I put them in here. And I got some 2x4 blocks and stacked them all the way around. I cut them all the same length, about the width of the beads, and stacked them around the tread, and then put the wheelbarrow tire inner tubes in there and didn't put as much air in them and aired them up. And it's kind of got them sort of shaped, and I'm just hoping that with that time, it sat almost a week, that it'll fix the problem. But I'm trying out the new camera today, as you can tell, and it'll let you see what I'm doing a little better. And I'm going to leave them both going, and we'll just, this is new to me. I'll do it in editing. I hope I can get a good presentable picture. But with that said, I'm going to see what these things do. I'm going to try to get the air out of them. Let me go pick up the valve core tool and let the air out. Anyway, we're going to let the air out of this thing. See if I can get it without popping the other inner tubes. I did get 2 more to go in these wheels. If I can just get these things mounted and get the tubes in them, then maybe, just maybe, we'll be done with these tires. It's about to drive me crazy. Or something so simple, you know. It could have been so simple if they hadn't have ruined them in shipping. I mean, literally, those tires were almost ruined. I don't know why anybody in the tire business would do that. Just people don't know any better, I suppose. All right, there's one. I guess I better put the core back in it before I lose it, so I can get them back in the wheelbarrow. blast from the past. My son. You're on camera.
Oh, you got your little pocket cam.
Anyway, let me cut this off.
Oh, there's the beast.
As you can see, I stacked these 2x4s in. You can see that right there. To keep these beads apart. And when you take them out, they stayed apart somewhat. At least I think I got enough there, even though they're still a wadded up mess, to put the tubes in them and air them up and just leave the tubes in them. I'm not going to run them tubeless. And anyway, usually you have far less leaks with a tube until you puncture it actually. But I do have good luck out of putting tubes in them. I got to get some cornstarch from upstairs to go in the bladder once I get this mounted, at least one side of it, and then I'll put some cornstarch in there. I learned that from racing years ago. You quit damaging the tubes if you do run a tube in a racing tire, which if you ran dirt and you got to keep the tire pressure from dropping on you, you ran tubes in them, and even though it adds extra weight, but we always did. That was just another story I'm going off on, going down a wild goose chase here. But you put cornstarch or baby powder inside a tire when you put a tube in it, and that way the tube will not get pinched as easy, and it kind of helps lubricate it in a way where it doesn't make a liquid mess, and the baby powder will allow it to keep from chafing the tube, basically. I think that's probably what happened, and these blew out because they sat there a while. And when I aired up the tire, it, of course, popped about 30 minutes later. And before I could get down to let the air out of the other one, it popped as well. So that's why I had to order 2 new tubes. But we're going to get this one bead put on, and then I'm going to go get some cornstarch and go from there. And when you break down tires, I always put the top bead to the top. That's the only way, so you're not fighting the wide bead. You always want when you're mounting, you always want the narrow bead to the top where you're putting the tire on. That way, you have the drop down. It's a lot closer than the span of this. It's a lot harder. You'd have to, in fact, I don't even think you could without ripping the bead. So that's what this is made for. It's offset like that. So even though that's the inside, you want it facing up. On any wheel, when you mount tires, you want the short bead to the top. It just makes it easier. Physically, it's impossible on most of them. So, with that said, let's get this mounted up. Okay, I'm in the middle of editing, but I had to throw this in there just to kind of explain what happened. As you can see, these inner tubes that I've been fighting, I ordered a couple of them off of eBay. I'm not going to name names or anything, and they shipped them to me, and I put them in. I didn't even install them. I just used them to air up the tires to stretch the tires back out into place. And as you can see, they both blew out. It tells earlier in the video. So I ordered two more from the same guy. I probably shouldn't have done that. That should have told me something. I didn't feel right about them, but I didn't trust my gut. And I ordered two more from him. And this time I was real careful, and I put them in straight into the tire. I didn't stretch any. I used my old tubes from my wheelbarrow to stretch the tires, for the few days. And then when I got the two replacement tubes, I installed them in, and both of those blow out too. But that was inside the tire with cornstarch. I did everything I possibly could. I used to take tubes and we would inflate those and play a game, and the tire or the tube would be laid on its side, and we have them on a tire machine, a foot-operated air device, and you could go by and put a little air in. And we get a group of guys just cutting up, and we'd all stand around. It's kind of like playing musical chairs or something. And we get that thing to the point where it's ready to explode, and we'd each have to go up and press the pedal. And we were trying to see who it was going to pop on. We'd almost bet on it, and the thing would blow up after it got big. But laying on their side, I've seen, an inner tube get 2 or 3 foot high on its side. I was nowhere near that. I know these are tiny mower tires, but it's still, what I did with it, it shouldn't have blown. So I want to throw that out there. My own stupidity, I should have trusted my gut. I ordered 2 more from Amazon, and you'll see in the video coming up here, they were fine. I got them aired up, and it went right together. But I should have learned the first time and not tried the second set from the same place. Just figure I'd throw that out there. Okay, that's it for this one. We tried this new camera out. I got to come up with a better way to use it. It just flops all around. But with that said, that's it for this week. And we'll see you next week. Hopefully, we'll be working on the Ranger. The parts will finally make it in. And then I'll get back on this mower to see what it needs to get it running. But I got it where I can at least get it outside. It's got tires that aren't flat. So until next week, please give me a thumbs up too. Help this channel grow. We're going to get there. Just got a lot more to do in this shop before I can really take it serious. So, but just keep checking back. We're going to have some pretty good videos coming up.